Hi everyone. So today we're going to read Curious George Goes to an Ice Cream Shop. Then we're going to make our very own ice cream picture. Curious George Goes to an Ice Cream Shop. George and his friend were cleaning the house. "We've worked hard today," said the man. "Let's treat ourselves to some ice cream." "Look, George, there's a new ice cream place in town," said the man with the yellow hat. "Let's give it a try." "We've come to try your ice cream," the man said to the owner. "I'm glad someone has," said Mr. Herb. "Come on in. I just opened the place and no one knows I'm here yet." "Well, I'll have a strawberry cone," said the man with the yellow hat. Mr. Herb dipped out a scoop of strawberry. George was curious. Could he scoop ice cream too? "I have some errands to do, George," said the man. "Stay here until I come back. You can have some ice cream, but don't get into trouble." "Take your time deciding, George," said Mr. Herb. "I'll start on a special order I have to fill." George could make up his mind. There were so many flavors to choose from. Mr. Herb was busy filling a bowl with ice cream. "This is my first big order. It's for a party, and it has to be just right." Just then the phone rang. "That might be another order," said Mr. Herb, and he went to answer it. The next thing you know, George had climbed onto the counter and picked up the scoop. He dipped it into the banana ice cream and put it in the bowl. Then he dug into the strawberry, the nutty walnut, the raspberry, and the chocolate. Soon there was a mountain of ice cream in the bowl. George was just about to put vanilla on top of peppermint when... "George," Mr. Herb yelled, "that's not what my customer ordered." "Now I have to start all over again," he said. "Get away from here." Mr. Herb was angry. George was scared. He ran over to the other counter in front of the window. There were jars of cherries, nuts, coconut, whipped cream, and all kinds of sauces. There was even a bowl of bananas. George put some bananas in a dish. Then he added raspberries, chocolate chips, and whipped cream. George was getting hungry. Suddenly there was a tapping on the window. George turned around. Outside there was a crowd watching. "Add some nuts, George," called a boy. "Try the sprinkles," said a girl. "Don't forget the cherry on top." How could George forget the cherry? Just as George was about to taste his masterpiece, Mr. Herb came over. He was still angry. But before Herb could scold George, the crowd rushed in. "I'd like a raspberry sundae," said a man. "And I'll have a banana split," said another. Mr. Herb could hardly keep up. The orders kept pouring in. Finally, everyone was served. "Thanks for all the customers, George," Mr. Herb said. "You messed up my big order, but you sure made up for it." Just then the man with the yellow hat came back. Have you finally decided what flavor you want, George?" "He sure did," said Mr. Herb. "A little of everything." The end. So what we're going to do now is we're going to draw our very own ice cream. So I'm going to make an ice cream cone, and then I'll probably add maybe some chocolate or some Oreo or cookie dough, because those are my favorites. So you might want to think what your favorites are. Get a piece of paper and something to draw with. I'm going to use my markers, and I'm going to start with a brown to make my ice cream cone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a triangle shape somewhere in the middle. But I'm not going to close it up yet, okay? So I'm adding my triangle shape. I'm going back over my lines to smooth them in a little bit. There's my triangle shape. And then I like chocolate, Oreo, and then I think I'm going to have a lemon on top. So what I'm going to do for my scoops of ice cream is I'm going to probably start at the top and work my way down. So I'm going to start with I'll start with my chocolate. So what I'm going to do So I'm going to do a scoop over here. So I'm doing a curved line. Looks kind of like a mountain or an upside down U. And then I'm going to do little curvy lines around the bottom. Look like the bottom of the scoop. And then I can color all that in since it's my chocolate. If you have a different flavor, you can color it in whatever flavor you like. You might like strawberry, which would be pink or red. You might like maybe raspberry or blackberry. You could even invent a flavor. One of my pre-K students yesterday chose green apple, and I've never had green apple ice cream. So you can choose whatever kinds you like and color it in. So I'm almost done with my chocolate. I'm getting ready to move on to my next one, which is going to be my lemon. Alright, so I'm going to get my yellow. And I'm going to have it over to the side, and you're not going to be able to see all the curve because the chocolate's setting on top of it. It's going to come over to the side, curve around, have some curvy lines. Coloring in my lemon. Notice I'm doing a good job coloring inside the lines, and I'm coloring it all in, not leaving any white space. Alright, now I'm actually going to add 2 more scoops of ice cream, and they're going to be vanilla and Oreo. So vanilla you can't see, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an outline. I'm going to start with my Oreo one first. So it's going to be underneath my lemon flavor one. You're just going to see a little bit of it. I'll do my curvy lines. And then what I can do now is do some black spots for my Oreo. Alright, and then over here, I'm going to do a little bit of the vanilla. It's going to be under the chocolate, so you won't be able to see a whole lot. Okay, now to finish up, I'm going to put some lines on my cone. So I'm going to do some diagonal lines. That means they're kind of crooked. And I'm going to go all the way up under this scoop of ice cream. And now I'm going to do it the other way. Diagonal lines that crisscross. Alright, so there's my ice cream cone. And what you can do now is color in the background. So you could color it all one color. You could add George eating the ice cream. Okay, you can decorate it how you want to. But you've got all this white space that you can fill in. Okay, so spend some time coloring in the background. You could color in your cone, and you might have different flavors ice cream than I do. Okay, and that's fine. All right, so I hope you enjoyed reading about Curious George, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye.